Live by Live has all of your favorite music, and you can listen for free. Whether you hit play on one of our hundreds of curated music stations or create your own custom artist radio station, you'll find the music you love on Live by Live. Visit livexlive.com or search LiveX Live in the App Store or Google Play and listen for free now.
Hi, this is Jenna.
And this is Kelly.
And you're listening to ODFM.
This episode is One Doctrine from Murder. So James Carson had what seemed like the idyllic life in the late 1970s. He's a stay-at-home dad to his only child, Jennifer, while his wife, Lynn, worked as an elementary school teacher.
Oh, wow.
I know. So it's kind of unusual to have the dad stay home at that time, but
hey, okay, that sounds good.
It. Yeah, and he was a natural at it. Jennifer remembered him as a doting father who would braid her hair, make her lunch, and he was always very kind and loving.
That's impressive. He learned to braid.
I'm impressed. A good dad. He's like, what is the
Mr. Mom?
Movie? Mr. Mom, thank you.
Yes.
See? How'd you read my mind?
He did the Mr. Mom thing.
He did the Mr. Mom thing. He was amazing.
He totally would be on TikTok doing like parenting hacks and stuff like that.
And doing the dances with his daughter.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
So James was a part of the hippie culture in the 60s, and he met his first wife, Lynn, at college, where they were involved in war protest and counterculture movement and all that kind of stuff at the time. Drugs were a part of that culture, of course.
Yes, they were.
James was not against partaking in it. Unfortunately, James also had a dark side.
Ooh.
So aside from his peace-loving hippie ways, he would lose his temper and would say he's going to kill people who angered him quite often.
That's very anti-hippie.
That's very anti-peace and love and happiness, right? Yeah. So, but those around him didn't take him seriously. They're assuming like he meant like, I'm so mad I could kill that guy type of thing. But
there he goes again, making those jokes about killing people.
Yeah. So as the years passed, he became more rageful.
I don't think he's doing enough weed.
Yes,
obviously.
He needs more peaceful drugs,
right,
dude.
Which drugs was he doing? Because they're not working
with the LSD. The LSD is not a good one for you. You might want to make it the weed again. In one incident, after saying he was going to kill someone, he actually went and retrieved a gun and headed towards the door like he's on his way to go do it.
Oh.
But his wife, Lynn, was able to get the gun away from him, and she began to question his dangerous behavior right at this point. She's finally like,
Yeah.
Is this getting worse? It is.
I don't think he's kidding anymore.
He might be a little serious now that he's grabbed the gun. Maybe we shouldn't have a gun, just saying.
Maybe we shouldn't have a gun.
Yeah, that might be a thought. But things only escalated when James increased his drug use, which seemed to egg on his violent behavior. Ew. His recreational drug use became more of a controlling force in his life, and his thoughts became more convoluted as he started talking about his beliefs that certain politicians needed to be assassinated and the government needed to be violently overthrown. So he's becoming some violent anarchist.
Oh, shit.
And it was almost as if he's making his own kill list in his mind of all these politicians.
Oh, boy.
And stuff.
Oh, boy. Oh, God.
Even more concerning were the bizarre stories he began telling, like the one about how in high school he had killed someone with his mind.
Wait. Like Darth Vader? Or, what was it?
Firestarter.
Yes.
Drew Barrymore. What else?
I'm also thinking, what was it? Is the Kids in the Hall where I am crushing your head? I am crushing.
Yes, I love the Kids in the Hall. Yes.
Is that how he made that go down?
Whenever I think of Kids in the Hall, I think of, these are the Daves I know. These are the Daves I know. And it's a bunch of Daves walking down the street. Oh, my God. I don't know why I thought that was so hilarious.
Okay.
So Lynn finally got fed up with his outbursts, and she began arguing back with him. Like before, she would just be like, peace and love, man, peace and love. But after a while,
now
she's
you're just being a giant douche.
Now you're just a dickhead. Stop it. So when Jennifer was about 4, the couple began screaming and yelling at each other constantly. Like anytime she was out there, that's all that's going on. The last straw was when a glass was thrown during an argument and cut little Jennifer's knee.
Oh.
So, yeah. So Lynn was like, I'm done. This is it. So she took her daughter and left the increasingly violent James.
Good for her.
Thank God, which would be super hard to do in the 70s.
Oh, God. Yeah, absolutely.
So just after the breakup, James meets Susan Barnes, a wealthy divorcee, at a party. Good for him. She's wealthy, but...
Yeah, right? Well, yeah, because he was a stay-at-home dad. He didn't have any income.
He didn't have any income. His degree was in Chinese philosophy or something. So
very lucrative.
Yeah. So I'm not sure.
What do you do with that? You write fortune cookies? What?
Oh my God, that'd be a great job. Can I do that? I just use all the old Jack Handy quotes.
There you go. You know what I always wanted to do? I always wanted to be the person that came up with the names of the OPI nail polish.
Oh, yes. They're wonderful.
Awesome.
Those are so
I would
good.
do that all day long.
Fireside frivolity. Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Okay. Sorry. Total tangent.
Well, I have another tangent. So on the fortune cookie thing, one guy I dated in college, and he did the coolest thing, but it scared me off because I was too young to understand romance or had never been romanced, so I didn't get it. He took me out for a date.
There is a fine line between romance and stalker.
Right, and I didn't get it.
Basically has to do with whether or not it's welcome or not. It's really
that
all
could
it
be.
is.
Plus, he was quite not a lot older, a few years older, and I was like so young and just ready to party. So,
Gotcha.
But anyway, he took me out on this date. It was probably only our second date to a Chinese restaurant, and we get our fortune cookies, and I opened my fortune cookie, and I should preface this before that. I had this, I've always loved lizards. I had this gecko keychain, and it had broken off, and I had lost it, and I was so sad about it, and I had told him about it before that. I don't know why. I was like, oh my God, drama. I don't know. So stupid.
That's where you were in your life.
Yeah. Very important things. And I opened my fortune cookie, and it says, the man across from you has a gecko in his pocket. And I was like, what? This is really weird. Really weird. And I show it to him, and he opens his, and he's like, check your pocket. And he pulls out a gecko keychain, a new one. And everybody in the restaurant starts clapping, and they're like, did she say yes? Did she say yes?
Oh, Jesus.
Like,
my God. Yeah. See, that's the kind of thing you pull for a surprise proposal.
Right.
Or like a big anniversary
I know.
thing.
And
that
now, yeah, it was a lot, especially for an 18-year-old. I was like, oh, what do I,
yeah.
But I mean,
too much.
And now I'm like, man, what I wouldn't do for some romantic gestures like that now. But back then I was like,
and now it's just, would you pick up some Chinese food? And that's the romantic gesture. Like that's all it takes. Totally. Right? Will you actually order it and pick it up?
And please. But it was super sweet. And now I regret like being like, oh shit, run.
No, same. No.
Yeah. It was a lot when I was only 18 and going, what? Mm-hmm. And everybody asking if I had said yes. And then I was like, oh, and then we're both embarrassed. So
yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah. All right. So back to the story.
Anyway. Yeah. What were we talking about?
So we're talking about Susan and James.
Oh, yes. Susan and James. Yes.
So Susan, she's almost a decade older than James, and she's beautiful and flirty. And after meeting at the party that he met her out at her house, he never ends up leaving. The two have an instant connection. Like, this is instant.
Again, had she not had that feeling for him, it would be 911, this guy won't leave my house. So there's a very fine line between romance and unwanted attention.
Oh,
and it's purely based on how you feel about the person.
Whether you're receiving it. Yes. Yeah. Apparently she was into it. Susan herself was very eccentric, but she was outgoing, and James is instantly drawn into her wiles. And when she met him, she asked, "Isn't your name Michael?" And he replies, "No, it's James." And she's like, No. I think your name's Michael, like the archangel who's kicked Satan out of heaven. And this is your true name from God. And he's like, okay.
So she's just like, I want to call you. Well, oh God, what was that show? Oh, we're probably not allowed to talk about it. The Cosby Show. Do you remember the youngest one, Rudy? And she had her boyfriend. And she kept saying his name was Bud, and he was like, that wasn't his name.
I do remember that.
She only referred to him as Bud. She's like, that's not
so
his
cute.
name. His name is Bud.
She was so cute.
Right, so that's what I'm thinking of. It's like, I don't care what your name is. I'm calling you Bud.
I'm calling you Bud. Yeah, no, she's like, no, you're Michael.
No, you're Michael now. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Thanks. Okay,
weird.
well, if I'm going to live at your house for free, you can call me whatever you want, I guess.
That's true.
So Suzan claimed she was a psychic, and she easily convinced the whacked out James that in their past lives, they're lovers in ancient Egypt. And then later, they were lovers in medieval Europe. I mean...
Wow. They really got around.
Wow. They got around history, yeah.
Right.
With each other.
Okay. And they keep finding each other.
Yeah. So he's into it. The couple shared a love of psychedelic drugs, obviously. Not surprisingly. They both sound like they did.
I am so shocked to hear that fact.
I know, right? And they bonded over their love of psychedelics. So the two fall deeper and deeper into drug use and what they thought was love, and farther and farther away from reality.
I was just going to say, from reality.
Jennifer's mom and James, now Michael, share custody of their 4-year-old daughter because they don't have that system back then.
Oh, God, right, yeah. So he gets to see her.
Yep. So Jen did have to go and stay with her dad and Suzan.
Oh, poor girl.
I know. I can't even imagine. I mean, this messed her up because I watched a documentary with her talking about it. And it's just...
Oh, how could it not?
Right.
I mean, alone the fact that she was like, is my dad James, Michael? I mean, that's enough. That's confusing enough.
Totally.
But then you add in the drugs and the other weird shit. And,
God, this poor little thing. So on her first visit, she came over to what looked like a normal house. Mind you, she's 4. Little tiny girl. Outside of the house looks normal, but when she walks in, it's filled with hundreds of plants. No furniture, just plants everywhere.
Like an indoor jungle?
Yes. Yeah. And
Jumanji.
Oh my God, totally. That would be what it was like. Because she said as a little girl, she felt like she's walking into like a dark haunted forest because it's really dark in there because all these plants are covering lights. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Inside.
So
and she said when she met Suzan, she thought she was a Disney villain. She's like, whoa, this lady's creepy.
Wow. That paints a very specific picture in my mind, too.
Especially in some of her photos, her crazed out drug photos. You're like, oh, yeah, I see that.
Now I'm picturing Cruella de Vil at the end of the 101 Dalmatians when her eyes are all big and she's got her crazy hair. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I got an image.
God, the new Cruella is so good.
Oh, it's such a good movie.
Oh,
I really,
my
really
God.
like
It makes me love her.
Yes. Okay. Anyway.
So while Suzan and Michael drug out, poor 4-year-old little Jennifer's left to fend for herself. And
in the jungle. Inside the house.
The indoor jungle. Yes. And if she would ask her dad for anything, he'd usually just pass out. She's like, okay. So she tried to get things for herself. And she had memories of pulling chairs to the counter to try to search through the cabinets for food. Oh, and there wasn't any. The saddest part. Oh, my God. She remembered dialing 0 on a rotary phone and getting the operator and asking for mommy.
Oh, jeez.
Just as heartbreaking. Like,
my God.
Send the cops. So, of course, she dreaded her visits to their drug den.
I don't blame her. At least if they'd had like some fruit trees or something in there, she could
have done something. Poor little thing. You don't even know how to do anything at 4 years old.
Awful. And that poor mom who probably knew it was awful and she had no choice but to drop her off.
Couldn't do anything about it. Ugh.
God.
So Michael's obsession with violence began to take on a strange religious tone. So that's always fun. Let's add a religion into this mix. Suzan claimed to be able to tell who was a demon, and she also claimed that God was talking straight to her. So that's
starting to sound a lot like the Lori Vallow case. The Doomsday Mom. I'm really, oh God.
It's great.
This has happened more than once.
And it keeps happening.
Jesus.
So it wasn't long before Jennifer became a target.
Of course.
Okay.
She shouldn't have been a target. But I will say there have been times when I had a 4-year-old that was throwing a tantrum that I was like,
you little shit.
Right. Yeah, I'm totally, people are going to write to me about that. But, there have been times where I'm like,
oh, you little demon.
Exactly. But,
yes.
But this is real.
This is a little different thing.
This is reals.
It wasn't, she had asked her dad to rub her back before bed, and Suzan came in.
She?
How dare you want you to fall asleep and feel loved? How dare you? Suzan came in, and she's like basically telling Michael to get out, So she comes over. She tells Jennifer, this little girl, she tells her, you're a demon and you're going to hell. And she used her own jagged nails to scratch hard down Jennifer's back, leaving marks.
Whoa.
I think it was like a jealousy thing almost.
Holy crap.
So when Jennifer got home to her mom, she told her how she wasn't fed. And Lynn's like, oh, she probably means she didn't get a cookie that she wanted or something like that. Or she
didn't like what they gave her.
Yeah.
Right.
But she did tell her mom about some of the weird things the couple were saying while she was there. And it was when she told her mom that her back hurt, and Lynn lifted Jennifer's shirt and saw the claw marks down her back that she finally believed her little girl.
Holy crap.
So, yeah, and Lynn had been getting really freaky phone calls and letters from Michael, and she became convinced that she and Jennifer were in danger. Like, they were getting more and more violent towards them. So
once she figured out that Michael was James.
Exactly.
Who the fuck is Michael?
Who is writing me that says they are Michael? Right. I don't get it. So she was worried that little Jennifer would be kidnapped and she herself harmed so that they could kidnap Jennifer. So she went to the police and friends, but she was treated the whole time like a bitter ex-wife.
Oh my God. Just do a home visit.
Just
one home visit.
Just see what the thing is. Oh, if they'd seen it, they would have been like, nope, never mind. But nope. Mm-hmm. That's too much work for us. You must be a bitter ex-wife. You must just be jealous. So in one phone call Lynn got, Suzan and Michael said they're going to fly around the world, and before they left, they're coming to get Jennifer. Yeah, they even asked for her birth certificate and said, have Jennifer ready to go when we get here. We'll be there in an hour.
Why? Why do they want her? Why?
Why do you need her? Right?
No, I'd be like, go on your trip.
Yep. Leave. Do not come by here.
Right. Hope the plane doesn't land right. Just take off.
It burns your seats up.
Oh,
your
my God.
individual seats.
Right.
But Lynn packed Jennifer up.
Oh, Jesus.
But instead of waiting for the creepy couple to arrive, she took off with her daughter in their car. And they headed to Southern California, where she hoped they could disappear into the crowds.
Holy cow.
The shitty part was Lynn had to leave behind a stable teaching job and a nice house for a life of poverty. And when they would visit relatives, Jennifer was instructed to never tell where they lived for fear it would get leaked back to her dangerous freaking dad.
Oh, my God.
So Michael and Suzan did go on some overseas trip. I think they said they stayed in Europe for about a year.
It must have been a nice, relaxing year for her. Well, not relaxing, because they could have come back at any time, but it must have been like, oh, thank God they're gone.
Yeah, and I don't think she knew, because it's the 70s. There's no way to, really get info.
It's not like
she
you can
didn't
see
want
that
to
she
contact
posted.
them.
Yes,
right.
They didn't post on Instagram. Hey, we're in Rome.
Pictures.
Right.
No, so she had no idea. So she's still hiding. So they go there for a year, use up all their money because Suzan ran out of her money that she had left over from her divorce. And when they got back to the States, Michael tried to make contact with his daughter, but since he didn't know where they're living, he sent the letters to relatives, hoping they'd reach her through them.
Okay.
But Michael hasn't gotten better than he'd been, and he actually even escalated to more furious and bizarre thoughts from there.
Oh, God.
So he and Suzan changed their last name to Bear and transformed themselves into new people.
Bear?
Bear.
Okay.
Actually,
Michael Bear.
Michael Bear, Michael and Suzan Bear. Rawr.
Okay. That's odd.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they also decide they're Muslim. But
I didn't know you just pick these things.
Yeah, you just pick. But they're Muslim without following anything having to do with the Islamic faith.
That's not how that works.
They were picking and choosing. That sounds good. Nope, I don't agree with that. Of course, they continue their drug-fueled adventures, which also isn't Muslim or Islamic by any means. God. And they felt they were on a religious quest. And they combined bits of Islam with mysticism, which is way different than Islam. I know. Wow, okay. They're basically trying to make up their own religion and theology. Just what you want. cults.
I feel like they're doing like the thing with like you do in like role playing and like Dungeons and Dragons games where you just like roll the dice and they're like, okay, I guess we're going in the forest now.
Yes.
Let's see if let's roll the dice. What are we gonna? Oh, and we're gonna be Muslim.
We're gonna be Muslim.
And we're gonna change our name. Roll the dice. What's it gonna be?
Totally.
Random.
Very random. And they loved, their favorite thing about Islam was the idea of jihad, a religious war. They also became vegetarian and radical environmentalists, which, like, wait, what? There's all these extremes. Where? What are we choosing? I don't know. And they decided to make their money by growing and selling weed. Which, okay.
Well, they have experience with plants, I guess. I don't know.
I know. And I was like, if anything, yes, just do weed and go to sleep. Like,
right. Their house is basically a
true
greenhouse as it is. I mean,
may as well just do that. So they hitchhike up and down the Pacific coast looking for people like themselves. They're like, we need to spread our religion.
They think they're going to find people like themselves?
They do.
How do you advertise for that? Are you also batshit crazy? Come with us.
Come with us. You can be batshit crazy with us.
Here's the checklist. Okay, okay. Wait, whoop, no.
Nope. Oh,
no.
Red flags. Nope. You're not alone.
But they found people, didn't they?
A little bit. So in 1980, they end up in San Francisco in the Haight-Ashbury area.
Oh, yeah,
so,
they found people.
They found people. They blend right in with the 60s hippie vibe
Shit.
that persisted in the time in that area. So they soon made a friend, 23-year-old Karen Barnes. Karen grew up in Georgia, where she'd been an extra in the movie Smokey and the Bandit.
What?
So
that's her claim to fame.
That's her claim to fame. In fact, she met Burt Reynolds on set, and he told her he thought she had what it took to make it in Hollywood. So
was that before or after she was naked?
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I'm like, oh, Burt, you trying to get a little nookie on that? Mm-hmm. But on that advice, she moved down to L.A., where she became Jane Fonda's housekeeper.
Like every little girl dreams to grow up to be.
I'm going to be an actress or a housekeeper. But at least it's a cool famous person's housekeeper.
Jane Fonda. I mean,
worked out well. But Karen herself was bohemian, artistic, and she must have gotten sick of being a housekeeper. So she decided to move up to San Francisco, feeling like she'd fit in better there instead of the Hollywood shishi type. So
right.
Suzan and Michael were there preaching their weird ass religion. The Bears decided Karen was their acolyte. So, they just decide these things. Like, you don't have a choice in this matter. You just are.
Interesting.
So she was kind of drawn in under them because they, too, like talking about art and philosophy. Which, those are great things, but whoa. Their philosophy's a little, whoa.
Okay, yeah.
And Karen's friends actually warned her to stay away from these weirdos. Like, even the people in Haight-Ashbury are like, whoa.
There's something wrong with them. That's a problem.
We're weird, but they are weird with a capital W.
Shit.
They actually warned her, but she seemed sucked into their bizarre doctrine. Ugh.
Oh, God.
She rented an apartment with money from her Social Security checks, which I was like, why did she get rid of?
Okay.
I don't know. And the trio moved in. So Michael, Suzan, and Karen lived together.
Ugh.
Ooh, and Michael started becoming attracted to young Karen, which made Suzan
How old was he at this
jealous.
point?
I think he was 30-something, 32, something like that.
And she was 10 years older. So there's like a 40-year-old, a 30-year-old, and a 20-year-old.
And of course, this made Suzan jealous.
Mm-hmm.
Suzan believes because of her self-proclaimed psychic energy, she is vulnerable to witches, as one always thinks.
Of course she is.
Of course you are. So she began to believe that Karen is a devious and cunning witch.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
this makes total sense.
She's beautiful. She must be a witch. Karen, meanwhile, began to become troubled by the beyond eccentric behavior of the Bears, and she started telling friends about it, and then she's starting to get scared of them.
I'm actually impressed because it sounded like she was already hook, line, and sinker. So okay.
No, I think she was feeling something. Yeah. Maybe Suzan's psychic powers were infiltrating her witchy ways. Suzan felt like her psychic and yogic powers were being drained and that Karen, the witch, must be the cause.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
I know. And Michael, he felt it was his duty to protect his wife, so he agreed to kill Karen. These people are psychotic.
But she's the one paying for the apartment.
Right. Guys, remember, you need money.
You need her.
You need her. But on March 6th, the bears took over Karen in the kitchen. Mike grabbed a frying pan. He bashed Karen over the head with it and then hesitated, kind of like, oh, crap, not sure what to do. So Suzan takes over. She grabs a paring knife and started stabbing Karen. Michael finally snaps out of his haze and he takes a knife from his wife, but instead of stopping the attack, he carries on the stabbing.
Oh, here, let me get that for you.
Yeah, oh, here, honey. I said I would do it.
Oh, my God. Okay.
So Karen had 13 stab wounds to the face and throat in total.
The face? Oh, my God.
I know. And then Michael and Suzan left Karen where she fell and she died.
Oh, my God.
So not in the least remorseful, in fact, convinced they had rid the world of an evil witch, the couple left San Francisco to continue their holy quest. It's like the Salem witch trials of...
Holy cow.
Modern day, but only by 2 people. Meanwhile, Jen and her mother continue to move around, staying on couches, laying low, and Lynn is afraid to get a job where she'd have to present a Social Security card.
Oh, God.
Which she could be tracked with. So she took a bunch of low-paying jobs, working sometimes 3 different jobs at a time.
Oh, Jesus.
I know. She's willing to do anything to keep her daughter safe, but...
Of course, right.
Yeah, but it's not with it.
My
struggles.
Apologies. I couldn't hear what you said.
Siri. Siri's like, my apology.
That freaked me out. I was like, who's talking?
Siri, stop it. Stop it. I'm not talking to you. She had to work 3 different jobs at a time sometimes. And probably the hardest part of the ordeal was that Lynn was certain she and her daughter were in danger, but nobody believed her.
Oh, God, yeah.
It would be so maddening. I can't even imagine. People are just like, why are you worried? Just go back.
Yeah. And probably like, why won't you just get a real job? Why won't you get a decent job?
But meanwhile, these people are killing people. Oh, and Lynn had instincts about the couple that were totally spot on.
If she was psychic, the not
Suzan.
Lynn, the other one, Suzan, right? Why didn't she know where they were?
Right.
I mean,
Suzan, use your powers.
Why didn't she see the witch coming?
Yeah.
Why, I question
you, Suzan. So had people listened to Lynn, they could have prevented more of the horrors to come. Okay, so on March 7th, 1981, police found Karen Barnes' body. Police interviewed people in the Haight-Ashbury community in San Francisco, and they found out that Karen had been living with a couple named Michael and Suzan Bear. And with nothing else to go on other than these 2 fake names who disappeared after the murder, police are like left to be like, I guess we just have to wait and see because they're fake names and they disappeared.
Oh my God.
What do you do at that time? So Michael and Suzan spent the next year traveling up and down the Pacific Coast Highway up to Oregon and back. And in May of 1982, the couple gets work on a pot farm in Humboldt County in Northern California. And here's where Nikki's going to be like, you're finally doing a story on Humboldt. Ah! Michael does security, and he carries a gun with him to protect the farm.
Oh, excellent, because if anyone should be carrying a gun.
Oh, that stable guy should. Mm-hmm. And the couple's weird behavior scares others on the farm. And I mean, this is a freaking pot farm. And if you're scaring these people, it must be bad.
They surround themselves with, people who live on the fringe, and they're scared of them. That says a lot.
These are the scary of the scaries.
Oh, God.
So they're doing weird self-defense drills while working there. I just imagine them rolling with guns and stuff, rolling around by themselves, just the 2 of them.
Oh, my God.
And they're constantly talking about violence and jihad to everybody there. So everyone's like, whoa, dude, we're just chilling. Yeah. We're smoking pot and hanging, but you guys are...
You're bringing me down, man.
Next level.
Killing my buzz.
Like, chill out and have some bud. So Clark Stevens, one of the other workers at the farm, didn't get along well with the bears.
Shocker.
Shocking. So what started out as a disagreement on how to properly manicure pot plants became a full-blown argument.
Oh, God.
There's no wrong way, people. Well, there probably is, but, is it that big a deal? Clark himself wasn't one to let others push him around, and he could be a bit abrasive. And Suzan soon decides he must be a witch.
Of course. I mean, there's no other reasonable explanation.
This guy's a jerk. He must be a witch. So he must be eliminated. And one day, while alone at the farm with Clark, Michael shot Clark Stevens in the head, killing him.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So the couple take his body out to a pot field, covered in gas, lighted on fire, and then they bury the charred remains under a pile of manure and fled.
Did they burned him in the middle of the pot field? Like, did
Right.
the pot not
Yeah.
light on? Okay.
Maybe it was too wet, too green? I don't know.
Okay. And then they buried him in the manure. Good God.
I know. Like,
Well, that would hide smell. I would.
I guess.
Jesus.
I know. So, let's see. They were out of money and had nowhere to go, again, because I keep killing anybody who helps them. They began hitchhiking in nearby Trinity County. So they're out there hitchhiking. They see this line of police cars, flashing lights, everything coming towards them. And they're like, oh, shit, the cops are chasing them. Actually, the cops are searching for a missing hiker who had nothing to do with them. God. But Michael and Suzan start running around crazy in different ways.
God.
And they're screaming and running around different, separate ways from each other.
Way to lay low, man. Way to lay low.
And they drop their backpacks and run off into the woods.
It's so not suspicious.
Had they acted normal, the police probably would have just raced right past them because they had nothing to do with it. But because of their weird behavior, they stopped to check out the backpacks couple left behind.
Sure, yeah.
Of course. So in the packs, they find a gun, fake IDs, and a really whacked out manifesto called A Cry for War.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. A cry for help. Oh,
yeah.
My God. Oh, my God.
Please, people. Michael wrote the manifesto, which called for bombings and political assassinations.
Oh, shit.
And a lot of it was just gibberish and tried to lay out justification for their killing of people. And there were detailed plans to kill witches. And on that list of witches were Johnny Carson.
Oh.
He had that guy. Yeah.
He did that psychic thing. Yeah. Yeah. That. Right. The Great Someone or Other or something.
Yeah. What was that? Yeah. But yeah,
I can't remember, but obviously witch. I mean,
witch. And the California governor, they decided was a witch. And Ronald Reagan, who was president at the time.
I was going to say, was this when he was acting or when he was president?
It was when he was president, apparently.
Okay. Interesting.
So, yeah. 2 weeks after the shooting of Clark up in the pot fields, police were called to the farm. Workers had seen a farm dog running around with what they thought was a ball. But when they're able to look at it, it's actually a human skull.
Oh, God.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
So they actually called the police up to the pot farm. Which I was like, I can't believe they called the police up to the pot farm. But
they were desperate.
They're like, dude, these people ruined my chill. Police searched the area and they're able to dig up the remains of Clark Stevens. Workers told them about the bears who had taken off right around the time Clark had gone missing. But because the names Michael and Suzan Bear weren't legal names, a search for them led nowhere. So when Michael and Suzan ran off, they got separated. They're like, ran in different ways. One went this way, one that way. They sound like
cartoons.
I know.
And then they slam into each other. And
Totally dipshits. Yeah, so they had gotten separated. And apparently they had a safe house in L.A. planned out that if they ever did get separated, that's where they were going to go to meet up.
Yeah, I'm surprised
they actually made plans.
Planned that far ahead. Okay.
Oh, so a passerby, this was kind of crazy. A guy driving by on the highway recognized Michael hitchhiking along the road. And he had also worked on the same pot farm with Michael before.
Oh.
He had known about the murder, and he went and called the police, telling him, yo, I saw this guy that you're searching for. Unfortunately, a pretty new police officer was dispatched to check him out, and he mistook Michael for a different suspect. The suspect was wanted for, I think, a sexual assault. Totally different than Michael's situation. And he mistook him for him. And he took him in. So he did take him in.
So they had him.
Yes, but not for the crime he actually committed. So Michael actually had a gun on him at the time when he was arrested. But the officer didn't spot it and put him in the back of his vehicle.
What?
Yeah. I don't know. Don't you frisk him? I don't know. So on the way there, he was able to hide it. Luckily, he didn't use it against the police officer, but he hid it in the back of the police car. At the station, he uses the fake name of Richard Orada, which was the name on one of the fake IDs that had been in the backpack. He's polite and he seems upstanding and actually convinces police that he hadn't done anything wrong. And police are like, okay. But they take a picture of him at the station to show to the victim of the sexual assault.
Okay.
And of course, the victim's like, yeah, that's not the guy. So
oh my God,
they set him free.
Oh my God.
I know. Shit.
Oh my God.
And a while after, like hours after they set him free, they find the gun in the back of the police car.
Oh my God.
But of course, he's already long gone.
My. Wow. Okay.
And somehow he gets reunited with his crazy ass wife. Probably psychically, they just were like magnets. They magnetized to each other, just being pulled around. Because he used the name found on the ID in the backpack, though, the police realized this is the guy they've been looking for killing Clark, because it's the same
God. But they
name.
let him go.
So he had made a mistake that way. But they hand over the manifesto to the Trinity County authorities and to the feds, since it mentions political figures.
Yes, right.
When they had been questioning Michael, he had given the police the name of Susan's ex-husband for something. I don't know if he was just talking gibberish, but they wrote the name down.
Huh.
This turned out to be a fantastic lead.
Oh.
Yes, they tracked down the ex-husband in Scottsdale, Arizona, and he gives them Susan's real last name and Michael's real name of James Carson.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, so in 1982, oh, this is crazy, men in black show up at Lynn and Jennifer's door at wherever they're living at this time. Like, they've been passing all around. Nobody seems to know where they are. Even their relatives don't. But these guys were the Secret Service.
Oh, my God.
Dispatched because of the threat against President Reagan.
Oh, my God.
In the manifesto. And Lynn's like, instantly, how did you find us? And they just laugh and brush it off. And they're like, ma'am, we're the Secret Service.
Oh, my God.
Oh, I know. It's kind of creepy.
That must have scared the shit out of her, because she was like, how did you find us?
Right. Like, I thought I'd done everything. But it's pretty dang creepy that they did find her. But they're more interested in her ex-husband than her running away, of course. Lynn was questioned, and authorities are now aware, finally, of how dangerous the couple is. And she's finally validated all her shit she'd been saying. So in 1983, I mean, the years just keep going. The couple are still on the road hitchhiking.
Oh, my God.
When a man named John Hellier stopped to give them a ride. Nice guy, just...
This is why... the hitchhiking thing.
I don't pick up hitchhikers.
Nope.
The couple had hitchhiked at this point, maybe 200 or 300 miles, and they were cold and exhausted. And at some point in the ride in John Hellier's truck, Susan accused him of touching her in a sexual manner. Oh, you brushed my leg, or something.
Okay.
Susan turns to Michael and tells him she can tell the driver is a powerful witch.
Oh, God. Oh, here we go again.
Here we go again, Susan. So a physical altercation breaks out in the cab of the truck, and John Hellier pulls a gun. The driver had a gun. Somehow, though, I mean, he's trying to drive and you point the gun. So somehow Michael gets the gun away from John, and he points it at John's head with Susan sitting there yelling at him, shoot him, shoot him.
Oh, my God.
So John, brakes really hard, stops the truck, gets out, and the fight continues outside of the vehicle, and they're fighting over the gun. And Susan had a knife. I read this too, and she's stabbing the guy.
Oh, my God.
And so they overpower him eventually, and Michael shoots him in the head in plain view of passing cars.
So this wasn't like a deserted area or anything.
No, this was the highway.
Cow.
So all these people call in, and a police chase starts because they got back in the truck and took off. Eventually, the couple is driving on this big chase through the winding road, but they crashed into a ditch. And when police caught up with them, the first thing Susan did, she turns to him and she's like, how impressive was my driving? That was her comment. Like, how good did I do?
Well,
that was
she
all
had
me.
been using her psychic abilities to foresee the curves.
That was
so it was really impressive.
Yeah. So, God.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're finally caught there. news of the couple's arrest reached the now 9-year-old Jennifer.
Holy cow.
So she's, of course, terrorized by the thoughts of what her father had done. And after his arrest, Michael, he was disappointed in the lack of attention his story's getting.
Aw, is he not as famous as he thought he would be?
I thought I'd be more famous for all the witches I killed. So he wrote the San Francisco Chronicle, which was the same one the Zodiac Killer wrote, by the way.
Oh.
He wrote, "How many people do we need to kill to get attention?"
Holy crap.
They wanted the opportunity to share their bizarre freaking religious philosophy on witches and and the service they'd done to the world by killing witches.
Okay.
They agreed to tell the police all they wanted to know as long as the press was there. So basically they held a press conference interview.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. So I'm sure there wasn't a single lawyer that was like, yeah, I can't defend you. I mean,
God. No, it was hilarious because they had been given a court-appointed defense lawyer and he's watching TV and this pops up. He didn't even know.
No. Oh my God.
This was happening. He's like,
Oh my God. Well,
yes, I can't
just went to shit.
Yes, I can't advise them what not to do there.
Oh my God.
They spent 5 hours rambling about their weirdo religion and bragging about how they rid the world of these witches. They claimed to be vegetarian Muslim warriors.
Okay.
And they confessed to all 3 murders happily on TV. Police suspected them of more murders. And when walking up to the mic, Susan could be heard telling Michael, "Remember, we're only talking about the ones in California."
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So according to Richard D. Reynolds, Dick Reynolds, who wrote a book about the case, the Carsons were suspects in nearly a dozen other deaths in the U.S. and Europe.
Holy crap.
From when they were over there.
Oh, that's right. They were there for like a year.
Mm-hmm. At this point, they're dubbed the San Francisco Witch Killers and put on trial in 1984. And it was a circus style of trial. A circus. Okay, wait till you hear about their expert defense witnesses.
Oh, God.
They were witches and warlocks.
Oh, no. No.
And the couple, during the whole trial, just sat and made out at the defense table.
I'm sorry, they what?
They sat and made out.
Mm-hmm.
Little Jennifer had to see clips of this on TV and shit.
Wow, is there anything more sexy than being on trial?
Gross. Witches and warlocks are talking about us.
Exactly. You lean over. Is this making you hot? I'm getting hot.
I'm so hot.
What the hell? Oh, my
So
God.
freaky. Unsurprisingly, they're found guilty of all 3 murders.
I can't imagine how they didn't defend them. I mean,
how did those witches and warlocks not cast some spell? They received 75 years to life.
No, yeah,
and
good.
Michael wrote Jennifer from prison a bunch, his little daughter.
Oh, God.
But instead of being happy about it, she is horrified. She's feeling like she's getting communication from like a freaking boogeyman.
Of course.
And a serial killer straight from his hand. Seriously scared to death. So eventually, when she grows up, to try to get closure. There it is.
Closure.
Close. Yeah, all those things. Closure. She decided to go visit her dad in prison and say goodbye for good.
Oh, my God.
And she thought like it was going to be like on TV. There's glass between you. There's a little phone.
Yeah.
Instead, she walks into a room that's like a lunchroom. And Michael stands up and comes and hugs her.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. She's just like frozen in fear. She's been afraid of this guy since she was like 4.
Oh, my God. Right. She thought she was going to see him like behind glass or something.
Protected. And he's there assuming she came to establish a relationship with him. And she's telling him.
His psychic wife should have told him.
Yeah. She should have come out and be like, "Michael, I'm sending you vibes. She doesn't want you." And through their conversation, when he realizes she had come to cut ties, he started sending her these mean, rageful letters, which scared her even more. Before, God. I guess they were weird and bizarre, but they were kind of a little caring in a way.
Oh, God.
Horrified. So she never spoke to him again after that. But in 2014, everyone assumed they'd be serving 75 years to life. But because of prison overcrowding.
No.
Michael and Susan were allowed parole hearings. But they won't renounce their religion that they or claim any.
They haven't changed religions yet. They haven't.
Yeah, no, and they haven't tried to be remorseful or anything, and so they're probably not getting it. But they keep getting. They'll be eligible for parole now. Like I think Susan's was like every 10 years, and his, depending on something else, was like 5 to 10.
Oh my God.
But Jennifer is like making it her mission to make sure they never walk free, which now they're like in their, I think he's in his 60s and she's in her 70s, somewhere around there. So yeah, they should not be out.
Oh my God.
So sources are the book by Richard Reynolds called A Cry for War, the story of Suzan and Michael Carson. That must have been before they changed it to Bear.
I was going to say, who the hell's Suzan and Michael Carson?
They're the Bears. So Wikipedia, yes, of course, azcentral.com, Daily Beast, get this one, hellhorror.com, filmdaily.co.
Lovely.
Hell Horror, ranker.com, and I Lived with a Killer, the show, season 1, episode 19, the San Francisco Witch Killers. That was the one with the interview with Jennifer, and it was so good.
Ooh, yeah, I bet.
I know.
Oh my God.
Well, thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you for listening to Kelly's crazy story this week that wasn't even out of Florida.
Another not out of Florida.
I know. Yeah. I'm constantly shocked when I hear these, and I'm like, this wasn't Florida?
What? Again?
Oh, God.
Well, and next week I'm excited for Halloween edition.
As soon as I figure out what I'm writing. No pressure.
No pressure there.
I'll figure it out.
Except to all of us Halloweenies. Yeah, I'm kind of a weenie, but you know.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. See you next week. Bye.
Hey, Oddies. Thanks for listening to another episode of ODFM. If you're a longtime listener, hey, we cannot thank you enough for your continued support. And if you're a new listener, thanks for giving us a try. If you like us, please drop us a like, subscribe, or rate us so we can share our stories with more people around the world. And if you'd like more information, like links to our podcast and socials, along with our Patreon fan page, those links are all on Linktree under ODFM Podcast. That's linktr.ee/ODFM Podcast. Side note, you guys, we're obsessed with fan art, and we love making things with it, like stickers for our fans. So if you'd like us to use your designs, send it to us at odfmpodcast@gmail.com. And if we use your design, we'll be sure to send you a sticker.
Thanks for listening to another episode of ODFM, hosted by Kelly DeVries and Jenna Swanson. Production and editing by Kelly DeVries. Theme music by Eric Swanson. ODFM is a satirical true crime podcast for entertainment purposes only. The stories you hear are serious and true. The comments and opinions are not. We apologize if any of our content is harmful or disrespectful.